Before we begin, take a moment to pause and open your heart to God's presence. The Bible reminds us in Jeremiah 29:13, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." This is a personal invitation straight from God's heart to yours. He is not distant, silent, or unaware. He is waiting for you to draw near. Seeking God is more than a routine or a habit. It is a deliberate turning of your heart toward Him. It's pausing in the middle of life's chaos to listen, to pray, and to acknowledge His presence. It's saying, "Lord, I want to know you more. I want to understand your heart and follow your ways." Life often pulls our attention in countless directions, filling our days with noise, distractions, and responsibilities. Yet God calls us to stop, even briefly, and focus on Him. When we seek Him with all our heart, clarity begins to emerge, confusion fades, peace takes root, and faith strengthens. God is not waiting for perfect circumstances to reveal Himself. He is inviting you to come as you are, with all your questions, doubts, and struggles. Every step toward Him is a step into light, hope, and divine guidance. If you feel the Lord calling you today, write in the comments, "I am seeking God with all my heart." When we face life's challenges, it's natural to wonder why certain things happen. Unanswered prayers, unexpected hardships, or seasons of waiting can make us question God's plan. Yet Psalm 34:18 reminds us, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." God's heart is tender toward our pain. He sees every tear, hears every sigh, and understands every silent struggle. Understanding God's heart begins with realizing that His ways are higher than ours. Isaiah 55:8-9 tells us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." We may not grasp the full picture, but God always works with love, wisdom, and perfect timing. When life feels confusing, remember that God's heart is always toward you. He is not distant, indifferent, or unaware. Even in the darkest moments, He is moving behind the scenes, shaping your story for your good. Understanding His heart requires trust, patience, and surrender. It means believing that even when we don't see the outcome, God's love is guiding every detail. Take a moment today to reflect on how God has shown His care in your life. Even small answers, subtle guidance, and moments of unexpected peace reveal His loving hand. If you are learning to trust God's heart today, comment, "I trust God's heart and His perfect plan." Life often brings seasons we cannot explain. Sudden losses, unanswered prayers, or burdens heavier than we can bear can leave us asking, "Why, God?" Romans 8:28 reminds us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Notice it says all things, the joyful, the painful, the confusing, even the things we never asked for. God takes every part of our story and works it together for good. Even when we cannot see the whole picture, we can trust that God is in control. His ways are higher than ours, His timing perfect, and His love unwavering. Psalm 34:19 says, "Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all." This doesn't promise a trouble-free life, but it assures us that no matter the trial, God is our deliverer. Faith is choosing to trust Him when understanding seems impossible. It's walking through uncertainty with the confidence that He is working even in silence. Instead of asking, "When will this end?" we can ask, "What is God shaping in me through this?" Perhaps this season is growing our patience, strengthening our trust, or preparing us to bless others with our story. Even in the darkest moments, God is present, weaving hope, growth, and His goodness into our lives. We may not see it yet, but one day we will look back and say, "Now I understand. God was working all things together for my good." If you choose to trust God even when you don't understand, write in the comments, "I will trust God's plan even in the unknown." Life can feel overwhelming at times. Trials come unexpectedly, challenges seem too heavy, and our hearts can grow weary. Yet God promises that He is our refuge, our strength, and our ever-present help in times of trouble. Psalm 46:1 reminds us, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." No matter what we face, we are never alone. Even in the middle of storms, God sustains us. He carries our burdens, comforts our hearts, and provides peace that surpasses understanding. Isaiah 41:10 encourages us, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." God's hand is steady, His presence constant, and His love unshakable. When life feels unfair or difficult, it's natural to feel anxious or discouraged. But God invites us to look beyond our circumstances and focus on His promises. He doesn't always remove the trials immediately, but He provides the strength to endure and the wisdom to navigate them. Our hearts can find rest in Him even when the path is uncertain. Take a moment today to reflect on God's faithfulness. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to lean on Him, trust His timing, and experience His sustaining power. He is faithful, and His love never fails. If you are holding on to God's strength today, type in the comments, "God sustains me through every trial." Timing is everything, and yet waiting is one of life's greatest challenges. We long for answers, solutions, and breakthroughs. But God's timing is perfect. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." What may feel late to us is perfectly on time according to God's plan. When doors close unexpectedly, prayers seem unanswered, or progress feels slow, it's easy to grow impatient. But Psalm 31:15 encourages us. "My times are in your hands." God knows the right moment to act, and His plans are always for our good. He never delays out of forgetfulness or oversight. He is always orchestrating events in our favor. Faith means trusting God, even when the timing doesn't match our expectations. It's choosing to believe that the wait is not wasted and that His plan is unfolding behind the scenes. Romans 8:28 reassures us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Even in delay, He is working for your good. Instead of focusing on how long the wait is, focus on the faithfulness of God. He is always on time, always aware, and always moving in ways we may not yet see. Let your heart rest in the assurance that the God who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the perfect time. If you are trusting God's timing today, comment, "God's timing is perfect. I trust Him." Life often challenges us to trust God without seeing the full picture. Circumstances can feel uncertain, and our emotions may pull us in different directions. Yet 2 Corinthians 5:7 reminds us, "For we live by faith, not by sight." Faith means believing in God's promises, even when the path ahead is unclear. Walking by faith requires courage. It's choosing to trust God's guidance over our feelings, His timing over our impatience, and His plans over our understanding. Hebrews 11:1 defines faith as, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." Even when the outcome seems uncertain, God calls us to step forward with confidence in His promises. Sometimes we wait for clarity before taking action. But faith asks us to move, not because we see the entire journey, but because we know the one who holds the future. Our job is not to figure out every detail. It's to trust the one who sees the end from the beginning. When fear and doubt arise, remind yourself that God's presence is constant, His love unshakable, and His plans perfect. Even when we cannot see the complete path, God is faithfully guiding each step. Walking by faith transforms our perspective. Trials become lessons, waiting becomes preparation, and challenges become opportunities to witness His power. If you choose to step forward in faith today, write in the comments, "I will live by faith, not by sight." God's work is not always visible to our eyes, yet He is constantly at work behind the scenes. Isaiah 55:8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Often, what feels delayed or hidden is actually God orchestrating events perfectly for your life. When trials, setbacks, or delays arise, it's easy to feel discouraged or believe that nothing is happening. But Psalm 37:5 encourages us, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act." God's work may be invisible, but it is real, intentional, and always for your good. He is arranging circumstances, opening doors, and preparing blessings in ways you may not yet see. Faith requires trusting in what is unseen. Just as a seed grows beneath the soil before it breaks through to bloom, God's work in our lives is often hidden before the breakthrough. Romans 8:28 assures us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Nothing is wasted. Every moment, every challenge, every prayer is part of God's plan. Even when your heart longs for visible results, remember that God is faithful. His invisible work is shaping your character, building perseverance, and preparing you for greater blessings. Trust the process, even when you cannot see it. If you believe God is working behind the scenes in your life, comment, "I trust God's invisible work." Pain and trials are not meaningless. God can turn our suffering into purpose. Romans 5:3-4 reminds us, "Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope." Every challenge you face has the potential to shape you, refine you, and prepare you for something greater. When life feels heavy, it's natural to ask, "Why is this happening to me?" But God uses our hardships to teach lessons, cultivate compassion, and deepen our faith. James 1:2-4 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Pain is not the end. It is part of God's process to strengthen, equip, and mold you. Sometimes the purpose is not immediately visible. A broken heart, a lost opportunity, or an unexpected setback may feel devastating, but God's perspective is eternal. He sees the masterpiece being created even when we see only fragments. Psalm 35 reminds us, "Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning." The pain you endure today can be the platform for tomorrow's blessing, testimony, or opportunity to inspire others. Let your trials transform you, not defeat you. Seek God in your pain and allow Him to turn your suffering into purpose. He is shaping your story, and your pain is not wasted. If you are trusting God to turn your pain into purpose, type, "My pain has a purpose in God." One of the hardest things we face is letting go of control. Life often feels uncertain, and our natural instinct is to try to manage every detail. Yet Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight." True peace comes when we surrender our plans, worries, and timelines to God. When we cling to control, we limit the work God wants to do in our lives. But surrender opens the door for His wisdom, guidance, and perfect timing. Isaiah 41:10 encourages us. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Letting go does not mean inaction. It means trusting God to lead, even when the path is unclear. Surrender is a daily choice. It's handing over your fears, doubts, and ambitions, saying, Lord, I trust you with my life. Romans 12:1 urges, offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. When we fully submit, we invite God's power and provision into every area of our lives. Remember, God's control is not restrictive, it is protective. He sees the bigger picture, knows what is best, and works everything together for your good. Romans 8:28. Releasing control frees you from anxiety and allows you to experience His peace and guidance. If you are ready to surrender your life to God today, comment, I trust God with my life. God never leaves a task unfinished. Philippians 1:6 assures us, being confident of this, that He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Every step of your journey, every trial, every victory is part of His divine plan. What God begins, He faithfully completes. Even when you feel weak, lost, or discouraged, God is at work behind the scenes, weaving together every piece of your story. 2 Corinthians 12:9 reminds us, But He said to me, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Your imperfections do not hinder God. They are the canvas for His glory. Completion does not always look like we expect. Sometimes God's timing is different, and His way may surprise us. Yet His faithfulness never fails. Hebrews 10:23 encourages us, Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for He who promised is faithful. Trust that God is faithful to finish what He started in your life. As you reflect on your journey, recognize His fingerprints in every blessing, every lesson, and every moment of growth. The God who began a good work in you is still at work today. He is faithful, powerful, and deeply loving. If you believe that God is completing His work in your life, comment, God is finishing what He started in me.